we ready to do this thing?
No, but go ahead.
Yeah, we're already recording anyway. Welcome back to the Project Gen X podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Alan Smith, along with...
I'm the other guy, Big Dave.
And I'm Barry!
And on this episode, you know what? Actually, no.
Uh-oh. Oh, Lord.
I have prepared a statement.
Dave, get comfy.
I'm going for coffee. Call me when he's done.
And needless and legitimately, what you're hearing from Dave and Barry right there, they have no clue about this one. I have not spoken about it, but it's something that has happened recently that I'm like, all right.
Oh boy, put your seatbelt on. Here we go.
And I wrote this down because I didn't want to get sidetracked, and I wanted to stay on this as best I could. So here it is. Like I said, I have prepared a statement.
Okay.
Wait. The statement reflects only the opinions of Alan Smith.
Yes.
Not necessarily of the podcast.
Yes.
We'll see about that. I have been an avid listener of podcasts since early 2006. I've been a podcaster myself since mid-2008. I consider myself to be well above average in my knowledge of pop culture, both current and from previous generations. And here at Project Gen X Podcast, we cover a wide range of topics ranging from the late 70s through today. And in vetting what we cover, there is one rule that I hold above all others. Know what you're talking about. That rule doesn't necessarily mean that we are always 100% correct about any given subject, but it is the minimum baseline for each episode. Although we were all born in the 1970s, that does not mean we experienced that decade. Yes, there are certain movies, television shows, and trends that we do remember from that era, but not yet being in grade school when the decade ended does not mean we were engaged with the world that was. This is why most of what we talk about centers around the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s. We were all aware of our surroundings and old enough to really start forming our own opinions about what we liked and disliked. Yes, there is pop culture from earlier decades that we were exposed to and may love because of endless reruns or our parents and other older relatives told us about what they experienced. But we were not there and therefore do not have the lived experience of those eras. So we do not cover those things. By now, I'm sure you're all wondering, where is this going?
Yeah.
Can we buy a vowel?
Let me lay it out for you. I'm aware that most of our meager listenership is of a similar age as the three of us, and what I am about to say may only fall on ears who mostly will agree, but it still needs to be said. For the past 15 plus years of listening to podcasts, watching television retrospectives, and sitting through the documentaries about the times I lived, they have all been infected with millennial and sometimes Gen Z douchebags who may have been alive when these events happened, but they did not experience what happened. If you were born in 1984, you do not know what the 80s were like. Yes, you may have seen a few of the movies. Yes, you may have watched reruns of the television. But no, you did not know what it was like to be there because you were still dependent on your mom to wipe your ass and not anywhere close to having the cognitive ability to understand what the fuck was going on. I'm sure you believe you know everything because the boomers and elder Gen Xers who birthed you have told you that you're right about everything since the first day you emerged from the womb. Sorry to bust your bubble, little snowflake, but you're not perfect. Since podcasting really took off in the 2000s, I have listened to an innumerable amount of self-absorbed, self-righteous, and all-around intellectually bankrupt crop of entitled children read Wikipedia pages or quote whatever they saw on social media as proof positive that they are experts on the happenings of events past. I have often said that the biggest problem with these younger generations is that they lack a sense of history. So maybe I'm being a bit hard on them for them trying to learn. But there is a difference between learning history and reciting data. Wikipedia, YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, Snapchat, and whatever other memed source being used is not fact. It's conjecture. Simply reading or memorizing a fact is not intelligence. I know I sound like an old man yelling at a cloud right now, and I'm fine with that because The Simpsons was Gen X as fuck when it was still a good show. The reason I am saying all this stems from something I experienced recently on a much smaller level, and it has been grating on me since it happened. There is a local podcast network, local to Nashville, whose shows are infested with not only millennials, but also a shit ton of quote-unquote new Nashville transplants, all my life, this town has been very transient. There are very few of us who have been here our whole lives, and that's something I have learned to live with. But these new Nashvillians that host the majority of these shows have not been here long enough to give an informed opinion about the Nashville that I grew up in. Just like I cannot do the same for the Nashville my parents knew in the 1960s. And there is no amount of research through newspaper archives or historical texts that will put you on Lower Broadway in the 1980s to experience what a complete cesspool it was. But all that real-world experience aside, let's just talk about basic composition. At the very, very least, get stuff like names, dates, and pronunciations correct. These are fairly well-produced podcasts with some kind of budget that can't get the names of rides at Opry Grand right or what attractions were built when. I know that country music older than Luke Bryan's underwear isn't really your thing, but show enough respect to ask someone how to pronounce the last name of country music Hall of Famers who did more during their time on the charts than you will do in your entire lives combined. I know all of that is very specific to me and the town I live in, but it can all be extrapolated out to the mass pop culture environment where the likes of HBO spends millions of dollars on a documentary about Woodstock 99, but then populates it with a bunch of people who weren't there and weren't anywhere near old enough to have gone in the first place if they were alive at all. Now that I've said all this, I will concede that a compromise can be made. Make all the media you would like about the things you know, like Firefest, Family Guy, or the 2016 Ghostbusters remake, and we'll tell the story of Woodstock 99, The Simpsons, and the 1984 classic that is Ghostbusters. And one last thing. To the local podcast network, you may think you own this town, but we still own the deed, and we ain't selling, so watch your back, kids, because we're coming for you. So
okay, there's a story here. There's a story here. You're going to have to give us some back
we will
history.
talk. We will talk.
Yeah.
But
Dude.
I don't think I've seen those veins pop
telling
up in
you.
your forehead
tell you,
like
That
that.
blue vein coming out the side of your forehead, it was throbbing.
I was incensed listening to this crap. And it was all being told by someone who moved here in the last 15 years, who was trying to tell a story from a time when he wasn't even born, who had never been here. Okay? And I was just like, and money was put into this. This is fucking stupid. So, but it does, like I said, it extrapolates out to all kinds of stuff. You know, part of the reason that, you know, I wanted us to do this, and the reason why we changed the name to Project Gen X is because we were talking about the things that we lived, that we came up with, that we saw. We had boots on the ground for all of it. And everything that I had been hearing prior to that, for the most part, you know, the GXG guys aside, because they're here with us, you know.
They're brilliant.
But most of what I was hearing was all these millennials talking about stuff that literally they were just going to the Wikipedia page, and I still hear this in a lot of podcasts, and they're just reciting what's on there. And it's like, no, you don't know what you're talking about because you weren't there to experience it. You know, and that's just, it's bullshit is what it comes down to. And I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it. Gen X is tired of it is what it comes down to. So.
There's a shocker. There's a shocker right there. I mean, I'll say this, you know, I don't necessarily share 100% of your point of view on this, but I get it. I get it. I do feel like there is a glossing over of a lot of things. There is a sugarcoating of a lot of things.
There is a lot of rewriting of history.
Oh yeah,
is what.
No doubt about that too. But also, you know, I think that there's also a big misses, and that's one of the reasons why I'm kind of glad we did the whole, you know, retro summer thing, because that allowed us to kind of go back and touch on some of the things that you don't hear people talking about anymore, that were huge elements on our growing up, you know.
And we even sacrificed some of our own beloved children.
Yeah.
I mean,
You know, and like we said in last week's episode, you know, I had put that intro together and had that clip from Stand By Me, and then realized this isn't our movie.
No, yeah.
It may have some of our beloved actors in it, but that is not our movie. That is our parents' movie.
That's a boomer movie.
Yeah, and that's one of those things. That's why we'll never cover that. We'll never cover Forrest Gump. We'll never cover a lot of stuff that are boomer-centric because we weren't there. All we have is what we saw in the movie. That's it.
Yeah.
We weren't there to know what the context was for a lot of that. And that's the biggest thing is context.
No, I get
Context has everything to do with all of this stuff.
I mean, us talking about the big chill would be the same thing as
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
you know, some 20-year-old that's talking about The Crow.
And like I have said many times on here, when the big chill comes up, that movie soundtrack, or that movie does not deserve the soundtrack that it has.
I agree.
I mean, that movie is boomer bullshit. And you know, it's a bunch of boomer bullshit and navel gazing is all it is. Look how cool we were. Look how cool we were.
Not that Gen X doesn't have its own navel gaze.
We do.
No, we do.
Yeah,
we do.
but
Absolutely.
it's just,
you know, and I get it. I mean,
all right, trying to be Mr. Diplomat.
No, I mean, our whole generation.
You know, blah, 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 blah.
No, our whole generation
Fuck
is
the
half
boomers, okay?
based off of navel gazing and smoking clove cigarettes and trying to figure out how introspective we are.
He's not wrong. He's
Until we
not
put
wrong.
two fingers in the air and said, fuck it, we're going over here.
Yeah.
And then it's
Done and done.
I'm just saying, we're guilty of some of the stuff that you brought up too.
So now that we're 11 minutes into this and have not talked about I haven't even said what subject we're going to be speaking on this time.
I think
Before we do that, I want to throw something out to our listeners here, because I think you raised a lot of valid points on this and a lot of, you know, interesting ideas to move forward on it. We want to hear, you know, back from you guys on this as far as what you think about how some other, we won't just say podcasts, we'll say shows, you know, TV shows, movies, whatever, how they're doing retrospectives of our era.
Okay.
And are they doing it right?
I know. Did you watch? I know you did. You watched Trainwreck.
Yes.
What Woodstock '99.
Yes.
The Netflix docuseries 3. They did a great job on it because they had
is that the
people
new
who
one or is
yeah,
that the one that
the new
came?
one.
No.
I haven't seen the
They had people who were actually there.
Yeah.
That they talked to.
And they were scared to death.
Yes, and
on.
it was great because everybody for the most part, everybody they talked to was there. Whether they performed, whether it was like Ananda
worked
was
there or
there,
something.
you know, or they worked there, or were just
Yeah.
whatever. You go back and watch that HBO documentary. It's
it's garbage.
It's a bunch of talking heads who were like going, well, you know, it's so terrible the way that this happened because, and insert whatever social justice bullshit from 2022 you want to put in there. Okay, and it's like, no, you have to understand.
Yeah.
That was a completely different time and place.
What was the world like in 99?
Exactly.
You know, what was going on? What was acceptable? What was not acceptable?
And what we really don't need is a bunch of, you know, people who were not there, who do not know, trying to tell us what happened.
Well,
and that's the biggest biggest issue I have with all of this.
The thing that I picked up out of your little diatribe was
rant,
diatribe, whatever, is the two things that you kept hitting on over and over in different words were real life experience
Yes.
and context.
Yes.
Real life experience and context, which is what the world doesn't do a whole lot of right now.
No.
It's a lot
all
of
about sound bites and headlines. That's all it is.
it's
you know?
about keyboard warrior and
Right.
sound bites.
well,
Right.
and I'll
And people don't even try to have conversations anymore.
No.
It's about how do we get the best sound bite for
they
what
have
we
quotes.
To
They
be
don't have sound bites. They have quotes.
100% honest with everyone who is still listening to us, 'cause I'm sure we probably lost somebody at some point. It's one of those, but the three of us sitting here, we are all at different points of the political spectrum.
Oh,
okay?
absolutely. Absolutely. You know?
And it's one of those things where, you know, this was my, but this really has nothing to do with politics. It has to do with history.
Right.
You know, and I am a huge fan of history. Huge. I mean, we're
living through a huge bit of history right
no
now
kidding.
with Queen Elizabeth.
Yeah.
Whether no matter what your feelings are on either side of her, you're seeing the changeover of a monarchy. Which,
I
it's
get
a
that.
cool piece of
and
history.
I'll say the same thing about that I said about when William and Kate got married and when Harry and Meghan got married. And it's like, didn't we fight a war like 200 years ago, so we ain't got to worry about this shit anymore?
Yeah, but just to think that
I mean, it's
that
like-
woman was alive to survive through 54 different starting quarterbacks for the Cleveland Browns.
Well, there you go.
know, I mean, come on.
Yeah, but that could happen in like a 2-year period.
fair,
So
fair point.
Well, it's really cool to me because in my lifetime I've now seen a pope die and a pope receded.
Yep.
I've now seen a monarchy turnover.
Yeah.
We may end up seeing
we've
another.
seen several monarchies turn over.
Well,
Nothing
I
to
mean,
this scale.
I'm talking about
Nothing.
I know,
Great
not
Britain.
British, but I get it.
I'm talking
Yeah,
about
it's-
Great Britain,
Right.
Yeah.
Old Ironsides and all that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, and I'll say this, and you know, again, 95% on what you said, I am 100% right on board with you. I have never had a problem with somebody that wants to look back on history and give their point of view and their opinion on what happened. As long as they're stating it based off of the facts that are there, you're allowed to have an opinion on it. You're allowed to have a point of view. You're allowed to say, man, that sucked, and that would never happen today.
But you also need to, when
There's a
you
difference,
do
though.
that, you need to say, I was not there. This is me looking at it through 2022
Well, there's a
glasses.
difference between stating
There was
this is what happened,
none of that in what
and
I'm
telling
talking
the
about.
story. And I think
Right.
that's what you were talking about. Don't try to tell me the story of something that you didn't experience.
Right.
Don't try to tell me the story of something that you weren't there, knowing the sights, the sounds, the smells, the tastes, all those other kinds of things, because I'm going to look at you going, how would you know?
But again, like I said, this podcast that I was listening to, the several different podcasts, I listened to several different shows on that network to
Yep.
kind of get a taste of what was going on across there.
Right.
Obviously, there's some money behind this, okay? They all had factual errors, problems with pronunciations. I mean, just dates wrong, all kinds, where I'm like,
Okay, now I want to say this. This is coming from somebody who was born and has lived in the same house in Nashville his entire life.
Yes.
I get that. But
This is
here's the thing.
No. Let me finish.
Listen to
No,
this.
you let me
If-
finish.
Hey.
Stop where you are. You let me finish. This is coming from somebody who was born here and has lived in the same house in Nashville his entire life. We're talking about another guy that was born here and has lived here for the majority of his life.
True.
I wasn't born here. I
But
moved
you've
in.
lived here the majority of your life.
but I've lived here for
You're Nashvilleian by proxy. But
You
Let's see
are.
here.
I mean, you've been here 30 plus years, okay?
yeah.
So it's one of those things.
Some of
That's
the
a little
stories-
different.
Some of the stories I don't know, so I've got to
And that's-
defer to these guys.
and you know what? And there's not a problem with
but
that, though.
you want to talk about the taste, the smell, the feel. These guys know it because they lived here and
Right.
they know what.
Well,
it was
it's not
like.
just that, but even like, because at least you have 3 decades worth of experience here.
Yeah.
Right.
To be
And I can-
around and to absorb, not just to go to some of these places that don't exist any longer or whatever, but also just taking in the culture of Nashville, of what was going on at this time in this
Yeah.
place, to know, hey, there's more to this story than just black and white, whatever, there was somebody who's trying to spin one narrative over here and somebody over here is trying to spin another narrative, and you kind of have to figure out which one is in the middle. One of the things that like I said, going back to the whole, like, the grammar of it all and stuff, is like, look, if you're going to make a concerted effort to talk about fanfare, okay, which is something that came up in one of these podcasts.
For those of you that don't know what that is, it's now called CMT Fest. But go ahead.
Eventually it became that. But it was still or CMA Fest.
CMA Fest, excuse me.
But it's one of those things that when you're talking about the people that were there, don't tell me about Jeannie Frick.
Oh, that hurts my soul. That hurts my soul.
That's a very that is something that was said. It's like, no, it's Jeannie Fricky was the woman's name, who is a country music Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
Okay.
a legend.
If you cannot get basic stuff like that, look, that's easy. Go ask somebody, how is this pronounced?
Yeah.
Go look it up. Do something, But they didn't even go that far. And that's one of the things that and I hear that all the time. Not just the stuff that's Nashville centric, but stuff that somebody's talking about something and they completely get names incorrect. And I'm talking about podcasts that get much, much, much bigger numbers than we do. That I'm just sitting there going, "You're a fucking moron." Okay,
Well,
it's just
and
it's how the natives. It's how the natives determine who was here and who was not, and who's a germ and who's not.
well, it's all of
It's funny we're talking about.
It's all of how you pronounce Lebanon.
True.
If someone says, "Yeah, I was just up in Lebanon," I'm like, "So you were in the Middle East? Okay,
Yeah,
cool."
there you go.
No, I was at that city out there past. No, that's Lebanon. It's not Lebanon.
No,
it's
I don't
Lebanon,
even
okay?
correct them at this point. If they call it Lebanon, I just look at them and go, "Oh, bless your heart."
Yeah, I know
Yeah,
exactly. We know you've been here a very short amount of time.
Absolutely. And, again, this is not to say that we hate newcomers to Nashville. This is not to say, anything
You
along
can
those
say
lines.
that.
Well, and people make mistakes. We understand that. Nobody is perfect on this. If you flub a line, God knows he's done it.
It
I've done
happens.
It happens. And we're not going to sit there and,
But when you do it continually,
well,
it's just
It's not that we don't hate newcomers. We hate newcomers that come in and don't try to assimilate into the culture here and appreciate what's here and the history that's here.
Yes,
It's the ones that want to come in and tear everything down and build tall and skinnies.
we don't need to become Los Angeles. We don't need to become
which
Austin.
is also a very good analogy for the transition from Gen X to millennials.
True.
It's, hey, we did this thing. We did something really cool. Why is it that you want to come in and just completely pave over top of it and claim it as your own. And pave over top of what we did, build something on top of it that's not nearly as cool, and then act like, you won the Super Bowl. Which goes into what we're going to be talking about today. So it's
wow. Dave, we are in the presence of greatness. Even I couldn't have segued like that.
We are going to be talking about football today.
Dave is gobsmacked over here.
I have no words.
Actually, before we get into that, I do have one more thing.
Of course he does.
No. We
might as well just keep going with this.
We have an email.
Oh, we got an email.
Chad has emailed us again.
Hi, Chad.
Hey, Chad.
It says here. He's like, hey, it's addressed to me because I, he's like, but it came through our project, projectgenxpod at gmail.com, which you can send it, and we will read your emails.
Please
send them to us.
Please send them to us.
He said, I'm the person you guys didn't think existed. I don't know what it is, but I have never liked the Goonies.
What?
Oh, no.
Hold on.
Chad,
Said,
say it ain't so.
I was 13 or 14 when it came out, so in the right age range. I did see it in the theater. I saw it on VHS, probably at the sleepover or something. I've watched it a few times as an adult. I've been trying to figure out why this movie is so beloved, and I still haven't. Hey, you know what? Everybody has, everybody's wrong about something.
And we just lost Chad as a listener.
Oh, no. We lost our only
for
listener.
E.T., I actually walked out of the theater, which is now a Kohl's, but this is funny. He says, which is now a Kohl's, but we too have a movie theater that is now a church since we talked about that.
Right.
And played video games in the lobby until my family finished the movie. I was 10 or 11 when it came out. I just thought it was really stupid. I've seen the full movie several times and still don't like it. To this day, I don't eat Reese's Pieces. Yes, I pronounce it the way it's written. I hate when people call it Reese's Pieces. We love Chad.
Yes. All right, you're back on our good side.
Back on the good side.
Not just because E.T. liked them, but the fact that they are terrible. And a reason why Chad and I are becoming best friends. So, and I don't like the way he looks. To be honest, he looks rather phallic. I can see that.
We
all
covered
talked
that,
about
Yeah.
It's like
like a scrotum.
He said I did have the E.T. Atari game, though. My grandparents got it for me and my cousin that Christmas. It was terrible. He's like, I fell in that pit and couldn't get out. Awful. The documentary about the game is far better than the game was.
Agreed.
On a more positive note, the Chip and Dale movie was a lot of fun. Definitely worth watching, especially if you have the Disney streaming service. Tons of nostalgic references throughout. And in fact, I think I need to watch it again. I feel like I missed a bunch of them. And then he ends it with, feel free to tell me to unsubscribe from the podcast if this is too controversial of an opinion, Chad.
You know what?
And I wrote him back, and I was like, no need to unsubscribe. I did not expect to like E.T. or Goonies as much as I did, but it happened. We have an episode coming up on Labyrinth talking about it. And I told him it was always good to hear about him. And he went on to say, I love Labyrinth. Bowie at Madison Square Garden was my first concert, so he's kind of special to me.
Nice.
By the time this is read, you will have heard our episode of Labyrinth and the 37 references to all of David Bowie's stuff.
That was a nice touch with the bell, by the way.
You like that?
Yeah, that was good.
way to edit that in.
Yeah.
So, he said, anyways, I was only kidding about unsubscribing. I like to listen to these kinds of episodes to see if you bring up anything that may change my mind. That wasn't the case here. I guess at 51, I'm pretty set in my ways with what I do and what I don't like. You know what?
All of us are.
All three of us are set in our ways of what we do and don't like.
Yeah,
and I fully admit it. And you can tell from the rant that I just did a little earlier how set in my ways I am.
Well, Chad, thank you for the email.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
and like I said, anyone who's listening, if you're
still listening after that rant.
Well, it's not the first one of my rants that they've sat through, and it won't be the last. So.
But yeah, please go to our, send us an email, send us a message on
Absolutely.
Discord.
Hey, Chad, come over and join us on Discord.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
man.
absolutely.
Love to have you. Love to have you.
We have a lot of fun over there, and we get there's a lot more interaction.
Absolutely.
With everybody. So football. Now that we are 24 minutes into this thing.
Are you ready for some football? Yep. All right.
Oh, quick funny thing.
Uh-oh.
Back in 2010.
Yes.
Okay. Before I married my ex-wife, it was Halloween weekend, and she's a makeup artist, and so she was doing some stuff for somebody, and I went with her. Okay. And these people that she went to, it was these two older guys and these two much younger women that one of them was married to, the other one was just dating.
Right.
The youngest of which they were playing, they had, XM playing or something.
Yeah.
And Joan Jett's "I Hate Myself for Loving You" came on, and she goes, "Isn't this the Sunday Night Football song?"
Oh,
no.
That hurts my soul. That hurts my soul, man.
I know that was kind of one of those fucking millennials, man. It's like, so it's
Could have been worse. It could have been the All My Rowdy Friends Are Coming Over Tonight,
Yeah.
which was used for Monday Night Football.
yeah, it was
How many years, you know?
until Bocephus stepped in it. So.
Well, there is that.
Actually, no, that came back though, didn't it?
For a
I
short
think it
time.
did, yeah.
For a short
so
time. And you know, Carrie Underwood during the Joan Jett tape
did that, and then there were okay. We got to. I know we're on. It started out the first year that they had Sunday Night Football.
Yes.
It was pink.
Oh yeah.
Just for that first year,
Yeah.
and then it was Faith Hill.
Was it Faith Hill? Or
It was
Carrie
Faith
Underwood?
Hill, and then it became, and then they stopped using the "I Hate Myself for Loving You" that riff that they did,
Right.
And they wrote whatever the new one is, and that was Carrie Underwood.
Okay.
Ever since then, so yeah, but that first year was pink, and I don't know what happened there, why she didn't come back. Probably because she couldn't keep her mouth
Well,
shut. But,
and I have a little claim to fame on this, a little history on this, since we talked a little bit about Monday night and Sunday night football. In the city that I live in, Murfreesboro, Tennessee, there is a restaurant called Toots.
Yes.
It's a chain restaurant.
there is.
Oh,
Several
it's
of
very
us.
good. Best
I've
fried
never,
pickle.
I've never eaten
Best fried pickles.
Best
ever.
fried pickles ever.
However, if you go into the Toots in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, and look directly over the bar, you will see the jukebox that was used in the opening sequence for Monday Night Football, the one that kind of spins around and does the whole thing. They got it directly off the set and added it to the restaurant when it first opened. And
Wow.
it's been there ever since. So, yeah, I love those stupid, like, tourist trap places. And when I looked up on a list on them and saw that, I was like, yeah, I got to go check this thing out now.
Okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
that's cool. And that's right
Awesome.
around the corner from your house.
Yes, it is.
So yeah, as we are recording this, because this, I think it'll be like a week difference when we record it to when it actually
Something
posts.
like that.
2 days ago on Thursday night was the kickoff of the NFL football season. For
Yes, it
2022. It was
was.
a good game until the fourth quarter.
I won a bet on that game.
Hey,
so
I
I'm
had no
happy
doubt
with
the
it.
Bills were going to win that game, and
Yeah.
I was happy. Hey, dude, my fantasy, I had Cooper Kupp and Gabe Davis in that team. I got
Oof.
like 35 points
Oh,
between
God,
the two.
lit
of
it up.
them. Actually, no, I got over 40 points between the two of them. Anyway,
Wait, didn't that basketball season yet?
Stop.
but yeah, so we are right here at the beginning of football season, and as a matter of fact, I'm missing watching Alabama football game right now because
He's going into a nervous twitch.
anyway, it's all right. We're going to talk a lot about them at some point.
Well, and
So we're going to talk about football, about some of our favorite
moments.
as well as just some iconic stuff that's happened over the years. I have mine broken down into pro and college.
Okay.
Which one do you want to start off with? Let's start with pro.
This is
Yeah, I
going
was
to
gonna
be
say.
mainly driven by you two because my college team hasn't really done anything
Hey,
until here recently.
You know what? My college team is notorious for being a joke until of recent years. So,
my college team is awesome.
shut up.
Not right now, they're not.
For those of you that aren't aware or haven't picked up on it yet, we're all kind of an SEC fan.
Oh, we're going to get
here.
into that. So
And so, for those that are, Big Ten or Pac-10 or any of those other stuff,
we're sorry you have inferior football.
God bless you. But you have to understand when you move into Southeastern Conference areas,
You either
football-
have to pick a
Let's be
SEC team
Yeah.
or one will be assigned to.
exactly,
Let's
it
be
becomes
honest.
a religion. It is a religion.
There is the SEC football, and then there's everything else.
Well,
and that
I
is
don't
no
know.
ifs, ands, buts about it.
And if
So,
you don't pick a team, one will be assigned to you, and it's
based off
usually-
of your location.
well, based off of location and what color shirt you're wearing on the Friday when
Fair.
college football starts.
Fair point.
I
Fair
get
point.
Be
But-
sure to avoid orange.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, there's like three
all-
different schools. That
Yeah,
can
and
use it.
avoid all
So,
of them.
yeah.
Avoid all of them. Okay.
Well, just to going around the room
And
here.
yeah, I stole a meme from It's a Southern Thing.
As
Shout out to them.
as Alan mentioned, he is a huge University of Alabama
Roll
fan.
motherfucking tide.
He is a
That's right.
huge Alabama fan. Dave, to my right, is a gigantic Kentucky fan. I think that's safe to say.
Yeah.
And mine, I know I'm going to get the stink eye from both of you on it. I don't care.
My wife's a fan of this team.
Anchor down, baby. I am
Hey,
a
no,
Vanderbilt fan.
Dude, look, my dad went to Vandy. My uncle went to Vandy. My
Yeah.
grandfather went to Vandy. I grew up watching Vandy find new ways to lose all
Yeah.
throughout
Oh,
the
absolutely.
80s.
When I
My
started
heart
to-
was broken.
I mean, it's, yeah.
So
and
growing-
I always pull for Vandy.
For
I
years,
always pull for them.
For years, I had the ultimate double play of disappointment. I was a Vanderbilt fan and I was a Chicago Cubs fan. That is the double play of
Yeah.
disappointment. you
Hey, at
know?
least
Wow.
the Cubs
You know how to-
finally did win a World Series. You know?
Wept openly openly when it happened too. But
when I was dating Miss Nay, she had season tickets to go see Vanderbilt. She was going to the football games
fun.
with her friends.
It's a lot of fun.
So, yeah.
But because of the
tickets are cheap.
Yeah, shut up. Because of where we come from and where it's kind of special to our hearts. We're all going to have SEC moments, but there are other moments out there.
Oh, I have. All right, fine. Since we keep talking about college, we'll just start there.
All right.
The first thing that I have on here,
Yes.
September 1st, 2007,
Okay.
at the Big House at Michigan.
Oh, see,
Little Appalachian State rolls in and beats them on a blocked field goal with time expiring.
I can automatically see the infamous Amy flipping off everything right now to you because she is a Go Blue Michigan Wolverine to the day she dies.
I remember that because that was the first year that I went to Dragon Con. And it was on in one of the hotel bars, and I was like, "Is this really happening?
Yep.
Is this really happening?
Yep.
Yes.
Are you joking? This is really holy shit! They blocked the field goal. It's over."
All right. Okay. Dave, have you got one?
Like I said, this is mainly going to be you guys driving the bus because my team didn't start doing anything football-wise until very, very recently.
All right, Dave,
it's all been basketball.
I actually have one for you here.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, this is going to be insulting.
November 9th, 2002. LSU versus Kentucky. You ever heard of the Bluegrass Miracle?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Marcus Randall, 2 seconds left on the clock. Kentucky's getting ready to win the game. And Marcus Randall hits Devery Henderson over the middle for a touchdown. After that, everybody storms the field. And all of a sudden, like, what just happened?
Yeah.
What just happened?
Yeah. That's all right. I will share one of mine.
Like I said, we haven't really done anything recently until recently.
Well,
Hey, you beat Florida. Was it 2 years ago?
Yeah, we finally broke the streak.
and
it
you got
was
those really
pretty
cool
awesome.
helmets
You beat,
too.
what was it? You beat Bama in, was it 06?
Like I said, it hadn't been.
It was
6
something
or
like
7,
that. It was
yeah.
before Saban got there, but yeah.
It's pretty
This
much
one-
all of it has been during the Stoops era.
Yep. Well, I'll throw one out there from me, and this is
Beat UT a few times too. In that,
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Coach.
I'm such a huge fan of the James Franklin era
yeah.
of Vanderbilt.
Yeah, Vanderbilt.
I have to throw it out here. 2013, the first time in my entire lifetime that I can recall Vanderbilt beating Tennessee.
No, you got that wrong.
In my lifetime.
Nope, you got that wrong.
When was it?
Vanderbilt beat UT in 1983.
Okay, and the first time that I can remember, I was
on.
6.
Hold on. Because I have this one on here.
All right.
November 19th, 2005. This is
Was it 05?
pre James Franklin.
That's the 14-10 one?
This was the
Okay, that's the one I'm thinking
Jay
of.
Cutler.
Jay Cutler to Earl Campbell.
Yeah, in the end zone on a
Yes.
slant with
Yes.
at UT. Mm-hmm. And
the look on all
everybody's
of the fans' faces were
on
just
a
like,
fourth and goal.
what just
Like,
happened?
yeah, it was a 4th and goal that they scored to win the game.
I actually enjoyed. Renee and I actually went to a Vanderbilt
22
game.
it was 22 straight losses.
Yep.
And I enjoyed watching Jay Cutler play
he was
football
a
at
beast.
Vanderbilt.
Well,
he was a beast.
You remember earlier that year, they took Florida into double overtime.
Yes.
And they should have won that game in regulation, except for the fact that the officials threw one of their excessive celebration crap that backed them up, so they couldn't go for 2 to try to win the game. So they had to take it to overtime.
By the way, before we go too much further into this episode, if you are not a sports fan, I apologize now because this is going to be a lot of sports talk on this one. You may want to skip to the next episode on this one because it's going to be just as cool. But this is one that I think any of us that have that kind of sports drive or those sports moments, you can't really go into the fall season without talking about football.
It's football season. It is football season.
And sorry, you found the rare instance where the movie and comic book and music geek podcast are actually enjoy sports.
This is look,
you found once again a unicorn within a unicorn.
I have a couple of non-SEC big moments.
All right.
Let's see if you can pick them out.
Okay.
Do you have any other? I mean,
I've got a couple, but go ahead.
Okay. November 23rd. It's funny how most of these happen like in November. Right. November 23rd, 1984.
84.
Boston College versus Miami.
The Flutie.
The Flutie.
Flutie.
Yes.
Oh, my gosh. I remember that.
Oh, that friggin' midget.
Dude.
He had to leap over his
Doug
center
Flutie
to throw it.
Took the snap
Yes.
and ran 20 yards backwards to avoid tackles.
Yes.
And jumped in the air and fired and went over 3 Miami defenders to drop it in to Gerard Fellum. And yeah.
and because of that, the Chicago Bears got saddled with that guy for
And
punching.
Flutie Flakes were born, folks.
Yeah, I know.
Flutie Flakes were born.
Well, Doug Flutie's going to come back up again later. And then I have one other
Do we
one.
need to get him a step stool?
I have another one here.
A ladder.
With another that involves another
All right.
Hall of Fame quarterback.
Okay.
November 20th, 1982.
82. All right.
If I say this, will you know what I'm saying? What I mean? The band is on the field.
Oh, USC.
Nope, Stanford and Cal.
Cal. It was Cal.
Yeah.
It was not USC. Yes. The band is on the field.
John Elway was a quarterback for Stanford.
Yeah.
Yep.
They kicked a field goal with 8 seconds left, rather than letting it run all the way down to 4 seconds, because they wanted to make sure that there was some time left
Just
in case there was a miss. They muffed the snap. You
Right.
know, leaving 4 seconds left on the clock. Plus, there was a penalty for excessive celebration, which meant that Stanford was kicking off from their own 25 instead of the 40.
Yep.
And there was 6 laterals that happened on this play, one of which happened millimeters before
Oh, I remember it.
before his knee hit the thing, which
'Cause you
meant
see
that
him going
the band
down.
and everybody starts coming out on the field, and Cal scored through the band.
Because the runner, didn't he take out a trombone player or
he did
something?
take out in the end zone.
Yeah,
that
I
was
remember that.
and it was one of those things where there were penalties on the play, because not only did the band rush the field, but Stanford players rushed the field,
Yep.
which meant that was illegal participation, and also, so it was one of those things that one of two things could have happened. They either were going to get an untimed down from wherever, like if they or the way the rules were written in that situation, they could have been awarded the touchdown because of outside interference.
Yes.
Yep.
And so, but the thing is they wound up scoring anyway, and so it was
The band is on the field.
yeah, that's
one I hadn't thought about in a
yeah, I
while.
know, but that's, again, I remember seeing these.
Yes.
My dad, because my dad was always watching college football.
Oh, yeah.
Back then, also, you only got like one game on Saturdays.
Well, no,
you
usually got 3.
Yeah,
You
it
got
was
a 12
something
o'clock, a 3 o'clock, and then
because
the
we
night.
only had 3 state. It was like,
Right.
It was usually CBS was who was covering. He was
You usually had CBS or if there was a
NBC
local
had the
affiliate
Notre
that did
Dame
it.
game. They
always
had it forever.
Always had the Notre Dame, and ABC always had like USC or UCLA or somebody over on the West Coast.
Right. I have one more non-SEC.
Okay.
The 2006 Rose Bowl.
Oh,
USC versus Texas, which is basically Vince Young
That's what's
versus
Vince Young,
USC
yeah.
versus Reggie Bush, Matt Leinart, and Lindell White,
Yeah, and ran roughshod on them.
and scored on a 4th and 7.
Mm-hmm.
He ran it from like 20 yards out to get into the end zone, and then they held USC, which USC had 2 Heisman Trophy winners on that team, and Matt Leinart had won it the previous year, and Reggie Bush had won it that year.
Yep.
And Vince Young pretty much single-handedly beat them on his own.
And God, I really wanted more for Vince Young when he went into the pros.
Yeah,
that's a
but
different story.
that's a whole different. Of course, he did wind up coming to the Titans, and we had to endure that for a number of years.
Anyway.
Okay, I have one more SEC.
All right. Well, I got one.
All right, go
before you
ahead. Go ahead.
Because it's one that's near and dear to my heart.
All right.
Going back to Vanderbilt, of course. Music City Bowl. Vanderbilt versus
I was going to say which one?
Tennessee.
Music City Bowl?
Yeah, they played them in the Music City
No,
Bowl.
they didn't play in the Music City Bowl.
It was
They played at Titan Stadium,
oh, that's what it was.
because that's the whole deal. Is like they play there
Because it was
instead of
Vanderbilt.
over at Vandy. Yeah.
Vanderbilt played, I think, Northwestern.
They played Northwestern one year. They played.
But it's that.
who
was,
else did they?
Again, in my
I
lifetime,
didn't in there.
I think they played Kentucky there once.
Don't know on that one, but I just remember
They
in
may
my
have. I
lifetime
don't
that is the first time that I could ever recall Vanderbilt not only making it to a bowl game, but winning a bowl game.
And that was when they played Northwestern.
Yes.
That was, yeah. And that was James, that wasn't James Franklin. It was right prior to him. But then James Franklin.
No, I think it was James Franklin.
No, then James Franklin. Maybe that one was.
Yeah,
but they
it was
had
first year.
They had gone to a bowl previously.
Yeah, and lost.
And
Actually, I think it was the Music City Bowl, as a matter of fact.
Yes, because they played the Music City Bowl a couple of
Twice.
times during that, and then they played down in Birmingham at the what's it called?
I don't
Whichever bowl. I don't
remember
think it
which one that
exists any longer. But yeah, it's one of those things that they've gone to several. They went to Memphis one year. They played in the Liberty Bowl. You know, they've done a few of them. But yeah, that's I always love to see Vandy do something.
I know, man.
But
all right, what's your other one?
my other SEC. As much as I hate to admit it, I watched this and was thoroughly shocked, was the Kick Six, the 2013 Iron Bowl. And it wasn't so much that it was we lost the game, but it was we lost the game to Auburn at Auburn on a play that was just what the hell just happened.
Yep.
Okay. My wife has had some family that's gone to Auburn, so on their behalf, War Eagle.
Yeah, well.
So
But in true Auburn fashion, they won that. They go on to play in the SEC championship.
Yes.
They win that. And then they go on to lose to FSU with a fourth quarter lead in the national championship because that's what Auburn does. So it's
Wow.
I'm not picking a side here. I just wanted to say on behalf of my wife's family, War Eagle.
yeah, whatever. All right. So I've got something else here that's I want to talk about SEC dominance.
Okay.
From 2006 until present.
Yes.
Okay. This is how it breaks down. Florida won a national championship in 2006 and 2008. Auburn won a national championship in 2010. Georgia won a national championship last year in 2021.
I was supposed to say last year, I remember.
Alabama won national championships in 2009, 2011, 2012, 2015, 2017, and 2020.
Does Nick Saban pay your bills? I mean,
Hold on.
Yeah, he kind of does.
On top of that, 6 times SEC teams have made it to the national championship games and not won.
yeah.
Okay. LSU lost to Alabama in 2011. Auburn lost to FSU in 2013. Alabama lost to Clemson in 2016. Georgia lost to Alabama in 2017. Alabama lost to Clemson in 2018, and then Alabama lost to Georgia in 2021. 3 different times during that period, the SEC had 2 teams
number 2 ranking. Yep.
in the national championship game. When you break it down from 2006 to 2021, there's only been twice that the SEC hasn't had a team in the national championship game.
I mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
And if you extrapolate it back to 1998 when the BCS came in, when they finally said, hey, we're going to have number 1 and number 2 play for the actual national championship game, there's 2 more. Tennessee in 98 and LSU in 2003. Yep. So you're talking about from 1998 to 2013, the era of the BCS, which is like 16 years or something like that.
Yeah.
The SEC
dominated it. Dominated.
Yeah. I mean, just like it was like, no, they dominated all the way through that. So that is, I mean, one of these days, I know Alabama has a bunch of these, but just looking at all of the teams from the SEC that have won national titles, going to 98 all the way through, but especially from 2006, just the run that happened in there. On top of it all, look at this. I'm going to go back to my team here. Between 2015 and 2021, there's only 1 year that Alabama didn't play in the national championship, and that was in 2020 or 2019.
I'm starting to think the only reason we did this episode was so that he could brag on his team.
Well, I'm gonna hijack it from him for just a moment here, because there is one that I'm going to give a shout out to the infamous Amy on this, because she is the biggest Jim Harbaugh fan on the planet.
We can't all be perfect.
Absolutely loves the man, and I didn't truly gain an understanding of who he was, what kind of person he is, what kind of stuff he does until we went to the College Football Hall of Fame down in Atlanta, which, by the way, if you ever all have a chance to check it out, it is so much fun. If you are a college football fan of any kind, go check it out. They literally have something for every team in the NCAA. It's really cool. But they did a whole opening of a little movie thing, and it was Harbaugh speaking. And I looked over as we're watching this, and she is like openly weeping because it was just so poignant to her. So I got to give a big shout out to when Harbaugh last year and the Michigan Wolverines destroyed Ohio State.
Yeah, it only took him 6 years to finally
You
win
know
that
what?
game.
It only takes one bullet, man. It only takes one bullet to put down a monster. That's all I got to say. And, it was just so much fun to watch that and see it kind of through her eyes and that growth of that team and how much they were supporting one another. Hassan Haskins is now a Tennessee Titan. I'm happy about it. Aiden Hutchinson, God bless you, son. I hope you do really, really well up in Detroit because they're going to need as much help as they can get. But I just really made me happy to kind of watch the progression of that team and kind of watch it through another eyes. Because I'll be honest, I never watched a lot of Big Ten or Pac-10 or any of these other types of conferences because we're SEC. Yeah. We grew up in SEC. That's what you watch.
Football, right?
And so watching these.
Wait, they play football outside of the South?
They play in Hawaii because that's where Vandy just went and kicked butt. But
like I said, they play football outside of the South.
USC. We just talked about the Trojans. The band is on the field. But anyway.
No, you still got that wrong.
I know.
That's Cal and then.
I was going to say the Trojans, that was that band that backed up Fleetwood Mac in that video, right?
Right, it was.
You're not wrong.
USC band in the Tusk. Yeah.
But
and the Pac-12 has already been eliminated from any contention whatsoever this year. So
we're not even going to discuss the Sun Belt. But anyway, it was just it really was. It was a lot of fun to sit there and watch. And even if you're not a football fan, even if you don't really have a tie to a specific school or whatever, you know what? Find a helmet that you like. Find one that you think is pretty, and just watch it and see how they play on this.
I have told this story on here before, and I'm going to tell it again. The reason that I am an Alabama fan is because of the television show BJ and the Bear.
Oh.
When I was a kid, I loved that show. And you know why the monkey was named the Bear? He was named after Bear Bryant.
Who coached at Kentucky before he coached
anywhere else. Always loved.
I knew you were going to.
He was also at Texas A&M, and he was at Duke at one point.
Yeah, he was at Kentucky before he was at Texas A&M.
So
moving on to
if Bear Bryant and Adolph Rupp had gotten along, we wouldn't be talking about the Junction Boys, and we would be talking about Alabama.
But they didn't. And
so it's I want to hear my thank you. I want to hear my thank you
because you had so much to do with that. So.
Moving on. Pro teams.
All right.
What are some of your favorite pro football
1985.
Moments? The Bears?
1985. And all of the
There has been no joy in Chicago since.
No, there has not been.
There's been no good quarterback in Chicago since.
No, that's not true. We had a good quarterback.
Jay Cutler. Right.
Jay Cutler. But that frigging administration had no idea what to do with him. They didn't know how to.
Not only did they have Jay Cutler, they also had Brandon Marshall. And Alshon Jeffrey, as well as
something Rex, not Rex Grossman.
No, that was before. He did get them to a Super Bowl. I'll give him that, but that was a whole other thing. And Rex Grossman, even when he was back playing for Florida, was a walking injury getting ready to happen. I mean, that's all it was.
But here's the thing.
No, what was the guy's name?
What Chicago didn't have
the tight end that played Olsen. Greg Olsen was there. Yeah. How do you not lead the league in passing in that situation?
You don't have a coaching staff with a playbook that knows what to do with the excellent players that they have.
Right. So 85 Bears.
85 Bears.
I mean, it's hard to argue with that as much.
Shuffling crew.
Yeah, well, exactly.
When your entire team has a nickname, I mean, that kind of says it right there. You could talk about Walter Payton. You could talk about Refrigerator Perry. You could talk about
Jim McMahon,
Mongo McMichael,
Mike Singletary.
I mean, the list goes on and on.
Jeff Fisher.
Yeah,
Jeff Fisher was on
that team.
Yeah,
he got injured, and so he didn't actually play.
No, but he was still in a ring.
I know he got a ring.
He got a ring from it.
But
we are the original New England Patriot haters.
Well, you're
Fair
not
enough.
wrong. You're not wrong.
Dude,
and I mean,
destroyed them. Man.
Yeah,
I mean,
if
that
you
was,
think about it,
of course, that was kind of the thing they did there for a while. They got destroyed by the Bears, and you fast forward 11 years, they got destroyed by the Packers, and it's just kind of
and that's
all
what
right.
I
Well,
think is
it's
kind of funny because if you think about during our era, there were a lot of different teams that became, and I shudder to use this phrase because of what it's been bastardized to mean now, America's team.
no, it's the Dallas Cowboys as America's team. Don't even give me that. We will talk about them.
Do we have to?
Yes, we will.
Anyway, but if you think about it, starting from '85, after that you had the Orange Crush, you had Elway and
Previous
all
to
that.
that, I mean, you had the Steel Curtain. I
Well,
mean, it
yeah,
was.
but
I
I
mean,
mean,
that's there
If
was.
you think about it though, of our era. Be honest, that's really when you started developing a taste for football.
It
your
was
opinions, your point of views.
somewhere
was
in
right
there.
around that 85, 86 era.
Hey.
So you had that. Then you had Elway. Then you had Montana.
When I was a little kid, I had Roger Staubach pajamas.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so I mean, I've been a Cowboys fan
All right,
for as long back as I
Let's
can
get
remember.
into the Cowboys.
Let's not. I don't even have. I mean, I only have like one thing on them
Because,
on here.
well, I mean,
Pro football. Here's the things that I have because
Okay,
we were talking about kind of big stuff.
Is
that,
it
you
the
know,
time Leon Lett got pulled over and coming out of Mexico with like
all the
500
drugs,
500
all the
pounds,
drugs,
all the drugs in
from Mexico. I know. It's
Apparently, he won a win your weight in weed competition or something. I don't know.
no, but I have some other. I went back to Super Bowl 42, the David Tyree catch.
Okay,
You
all
know,
right.
that I think as time has worn on and Tom Brady just refuses to go away and keeps winning Super Bowls, that this kind of gets. But that was the first time that they lost a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And they lost to a team that had to win to get into the playoffs and then basically just had to keep winning.
Yeah.
And even in the NFC Championship, most people forget that game was spectacular. It was against the Packers in Green Bay in sub-zero weather that went into overtime before they finally won it.
You don't go to the frozen tundra and not expect to be hurting afterwards.
Exactly.
Too.
And it's one of those things that, that Tyree catch is the thing that everybody looks at because it was a thing, the Patriots got to Eli Manning, okay, but didn't wrap him up. And so he got away and threw the ball, and Tyree caught it off of his helmet and fell down with it.
The helmet catch.
That was, it was a third down, and I think it was 3rd and 8 or something like that. But the thing is that there is more to that sequence, okay?
Oh, yeah.
There was another 3rd down that I think it was to Steve Smith, if I'm not mistaken, that was not as spectacular of a catch, but as big of a thing to keep that drive going because they're under 2 minutes. I mean, they're like when they got the ball back, I think there was like 1:42 left or something like that. And then it was Plaxico Burress who caught the touchdown with seconds left on the clock that won it. So it's one of those things that Tyree catch set up all of that. Right. But the other thing that gets left out is the fact that the Patriots were 18-0 running into this.
Yeah.
Okay? They were the most prolific offense the NFL had ever seen. They set multiple records. Randy Moss had the most touchdowns in a season.
Yep.
I mean, just all these records, just blah, 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 blah. And the Patriots and the Giants game planned the perfect defense.
Yeah, they shut them down.
To keep them.
down.
Yeah, I mean, to where it was what 17-14 was the final score or something.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, and that's all it took, So
Dave, what's one of your favorite memories?
I already told you my favorite memory.
What's
1985. It's all I have.
you've got one more.
It's all I
know
have.
of.
Well, I'm reserving the right to claim the last one. 'Cause I think you guys know what I'm going to choose.
Yeah. I've got it on here,
The only
too.
other football thing that I really remember is growing up, Dad was a huge Dallas fan.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
He was a more over than that. He was a Landry fan.
Okay.
So I was actually being raised as a Cowboys fan.
Because that's good parenting.
And then Jerry Jones happened.
Yeah.
And what they did to Landry upset Dad bad enough that he quit watching football. Mm-hmm. And he did not watch another pro football game for as long as I can remember after that. I mean, he went from being a Dallas fan to I am done with this. I have nothing more to say about it.
As a lifelong Dallas Cowboys fan, I understand that. I was pissed off about it too when it happened.
Well,
but you know what turns that around? winning Super Bowls.
Well, that's what opened the door for me to become a Chicago Bears fan, because we went from...
Which is funny considering that like Landry was fired in 89 and the Bears happened in 85. So, I mean, that's...
Well, I'll throw a couple of them.
I'm just saying.
Okay, I know.
There's a couple of them that I have that are just those moments.
Right.
Those absolute moments. Some of them happened on the field, some of them happened off the field. And one that I'm going to throw out that happened off the field, Monday Night Football, December 1980.
Oh, John Lennon.
Hearing...
Yeah.
I remember this vividly. I'm like 4 years old, and I'm watching this game with my dad. And they come on, and Howard Cosell, of all people, is the one that announced. It was a Monday Night Football game. It was Miami and...
I forget who that was.
I want to say it was...
But yeah,
I remember it was Miami.
That John Lennon had been killed.
He had announced that John Lennon had been killed and started breaking up, started tearing up on his broadcast.
Yeah.
That was the first time that I ever saw my dad just start to lose it, just because of the fact that here is Howard Cosell, the most stalwart person, the most polarizing, I honestly say, announcer of all time. You either loved this man or you absolutely hated him. And this was the first time that really made him human to everyone. And it was this weird magical moment that, it caused the world to stop. So, yeah, that's one moment that I will always have.
Thanks for bringing the entire thing down, Barry.
However,
yeah,
I do remember watching a show where they were talking about the top 100 moments of football in history, and I they interviewed several players, and all of them said the number one, ranked one, the three sweetest words in all of professional football are Montana to Rice.
Yeah, that's
You do not get.
it's true.
Oh my gosh, that from like the 80s into the 90s.
Oh, dude,
that
he came into the he came in. It wasn't his rookie season, but it was the second year.
Yes. Montana
That took them to the Super Bowl and won.
And of course,
did it 3 more times.
Let's take a minute and talk about the drive.
Yeah.
The drive. I mean, that's still hearing the story.
But it wasn't Rice he threw it to.
No, it wasn't Roger Craig. It was I can't think of who it was. But it was the whole point of the drive, though, was not who caught the ball.
No.
The point was that they were down. It was against the Bengals, wasn't it?
Yes.
And they were down by
1986
with just like less than a minute left to play in the game, and they've got to drive basically the length of the entire field.
They had to go from the 2-yard line.
Everybody is just completely exhausted.
No, I take that back. I'm thinking about the Elway. That was 98 yards.
Yeah.
It was inside the 10, though.
Yeah,
So
it was crazy. But I remember hearing the stories of everybody getting in the huddle. They're exhausted. They're worn down.
I remember this.
And Montana, God love Joe Montana, looks at the end zone, points, and says, "Hey, isn't that John Candy?" And everybody starts cracking up laughing. And that was just enough to loosen them up to be able to get them to put that drive. And they put together the best drive in the history of football.
One of them. The Elway drive against the
Elway drive was
the
classic,
Browns
no doubt.
That's the other. That's the 98 yards. And I have one that's spectacular for its own reasons because there is some off the field stuff that goes into this.
Okay.
Monday Night Football, September 25th, 2012. Okay. Going into this season, the NFL and the referees.
Is that the lockout years?
No.
Okay.
The NFL and the referees were having a problem negotiating, and so the referees went on strike. So they brought in scrubs.
Oh, yeah.
This Monday Night Football game was in Seattle. It was Green Bay versus Seattle. And this was in week 2, I think, either week 2 or week 3. And there had been so many blown calls up to this point. Everybody's like, look, we got to do something. Something has got to be done to end the strike, okay? This was the thing that ended the strike. With just a few seconds left on the clock, Russell Wilson drops back, heaves it to the end zone. Golden Tate goes up to get the ball to come down for the game-winning touchdown. Except that's not what happened.
No.
First thing that happened, the ball's in the air. Packers defender comes over. Golden Tate obviously pushes the dude to the ground, which is offensive pass interference.
Yes.
No flag. Second defender comes up as the ball is coming in. They both go up to catch it. The defender obviously grabs the ball and comes down with it in bounds, but Golden Tate gets his hands on the ball as well. They come down, both in bounds, roll out of bounds. 2 refs come up. One calls it incomplete. One calls it a touchdown.
I remember this.
Okay, well, first off, it was not an incomplete pass. It was an interception, okay? But they got together and talked about it and awarded the touchdown to Golden Tate. And when they came back to the Monday night, like they're on the field,
Yep.
Steve Young had
Yes.
one of the most pissed off looks I have
remember this.
ever seen in my life, to where he could barely talk.
Yep.
He was so incensed on how badly this thing was botched. And 2 days later, they announced that their referee strike was over.
Whatever you guys want, we can't have this anymore. All right. So I'm going to crack the seal. Since we're getting close to wrapping up here, I'm going to crack the seal. I've got 3 for my beloved Tennessee Titans.
Okay, one of them is Music City Miracle.
We're going to get to that.
Okay, I know.
The first one actually happened recently. I think it was like last year, 2 years ago, something along those lines, where Marcus Mariota catches his own pass for a touchdown.
That was in 2015. Or no, it was it was against Kansas City.
Yes.
He throws the ball, it gets deflected, it comes
smacked
back.
up in the air, and he catches his own
And runs it in
pass
for a touchdown.
And runs it in for a touchdown.
Yep.
All of us were sitting there looking at one another like, what did we just see?
Titans won that game, too.
Talk
Yes, they
about
did.
another quarterback that the team didn't know what to do with.
Yeah.
Well,
we'll see what he can do in Atlanta this year.
Yeah,
So.
I wish him well. I really do, because he didn't do much in Vegas.
Well, he played for Pac-12 team.
Well,
I mean,
true.
what do you expect? So.
Along those same lines, and actually I'm going to do a 1A and a 1B because they kind of go hand in hand. We cannot talk about recent Tennessee Titans football without talking about the Derrick Henry stiff arm.
Which one?
Does it matter?
No.
All you have to say is
we're
Derrick
talking about-
Henry, the Derrick Henry swift arm, which is like every game he puts somebody in.
That's his new nickname is the stiff arm.
Well, no. The better one, I think, was against the Ravens.
Oh, no. The one with the Bills where he grabs the guy and literally slings him out of the way.
No. I'm going to argue with you on this one.
All right.
In the playoff games, what was the safety that kept running his mouth going into that divisional game?
Crap, I know you're talking about.
That played for the Ravens. No, blah, 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 blah. Derrick Henry breaks a run off to the right-hand side, going down the sideline. This dude comes running up, and Henry basically grabs him and uses him as a blocker against his own guys the
Rode
entire
him like
time.
a sled. It was awesome.
And it's like it stiff arms 4 guys over the course of about a 50-yard run.
The man's a beast. There's no doubt the man's a beast.
Of course, you can also talk about the Derrick Henry 99-yard run against the Jaguars.
I mean, we could spend an entire episode just talking about Derrick Henry.
We really could. So.
I mean, that guy is just a phenom.
We could talk about so many guys like that, though. I mean, of course, we're talking about our
right.
But Emmitt Smith. We could talk about
Peyton.
Dude.
Barry Sanders.
We could talk about Adrian Peterson.
Oh God.
I mean, there are so many of those guys. Dude, go back. We can even talk about Earl Campbell.
Chris Johnson.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy some of these runs that these guys do. So anyway,
so there's 2, and I'm going to finish on the one that you mentioned, but the one prior to that is what happened afterwards. This still stings every time I say these words. 1 yard short.
Okay, you want to know what the problem is with that?
Yeah, there's a lot of problems with that.
Well, the whole thing is that if Steve McNair had just held on to the ball and run it, he could have walked into the end zone.
Easily.
but he was trying to win the game.
Kevin Dyson.
Dyson 1 yard short.
And God love him, he was stretching out at the very end of it, trying to get it out there.
Look, if after the Titans had scored to tie the game, okay, if they could have just stopped Isaac Bruce.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, literally, if they could have just, if 2 of the defenders hadn't have fallen down in the vicinity of where Isaac Bruce was for him to get that long touchdown, we're not talking about that situation.
Oh, I agree.
Or if Javon Curse had gotten a hold of Kurt Warner, he had his hand on him as he let the ball go. Yeah, another half second, and that's a sack.
So, I really want to talk about that Super Bowl for just a moment, because I can honestly say, even though I did not like the results of that Super Bowl,
it was a great Super Bowl.
That was quite possibly the best Super Bowl to watch as far as from the game perspective. It was literally back and forth the entire time. It was so much so that you could see the guys in Vegas getting nervous because nobody knew who the hell to pull for on this one. It was just it was a split.
You can also say the same thing about the fourth quarter of the Patriots Carolina Panthers game.
Oh, yeah.
in 2004, the infamous Janet Jackson game. You know,
Yeah.
because the thing is that like neither team did anything for 3 quarters,
and then all of a
in
sudden
the
it just
fourth quarter it was an
erupted.
explosion of like what the hell just happened? You know, where did all these points come from? You know, just
Or
all
the,
right.
the Falcons choking on them on that one Super Bowl, but we're not going to talk about that.
That
one.
was.
All right. And to summarize, to finish, to wrap it all up.
Oh no, there's still more.
Oh, well, if you're going to do it, then go ahead and do it because
I've got one Titans in here.
All right.
November 28th, 2010.
2010. All right. What is
Cortland Finnegan versus Andre Johnson.
Oh, yikes, I forgot about that.
Dude, that fight on the field.
Yes.
And they both got tossed. Because Andre Johnson was a pretty mild-mannered dude.
He was.
Okay, he didn't talk a lot. He was one of those dudes who went out and he just balled. That's all he did. He would just go out there
Finnegan
and
could get up underneath.
And Cortland
your skin.
Finnegan could get up under your skin like nobody's business. I have met Cortland Finnegan back in this era. He's only like 5'10".
Yeah, he's not a big dude
maybe,
at all.
Maybe weighed 195 pounds.
Still a head taller than you.
Fuck off. But it's one of those things where he like, and Johnson was like what 6'2", 6'3", or something like that. He was a pretty big dude, and Finnegan was just not intimidated by anybody.
No.
He
was a
Ever.
bulldog.
You know, and he was like what?
Bulldog.
He was what, a 6th or 7th round pick. It was one of those guys
Something.
that like they found they was kind of those diamonds in the rough that the Titans
Had a
found,
chip on his shoulder
and played that way.
Had to prove everything.
Now the thing that I love is the capper on the end of this. When Finnegan retired, because it was one of those things that, you know, he was going, I forget what year it was a few years after
Yeah, it was a
this,
couple years
and it was
after.
one of those things. He was like, "Hey, I'm announcing my retirement on Twitter. You know, it was great. I enjoyed everybody play blah 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 blah." And then at the very end of it, he goes, "Oh yeah, and Andre Johnson's still a bitch."
Love it. Love it.
I have one more.
All right, you do yours, and then we'll finish up on this.
Well, yeah, I have one more for the pros right here.
All right.
October 18th, 1994.
Okay.
Deion Sanders has left the Atlanta Falcons and signed a contract with the San Francisco 49ers, and they're coming back to Atlanta to play for the first time.
Oh.
And who is he lining up against on the opposite side? Andre Rison, who the two of them never got along in the 4 years they played together, and they both had a lot to say about each other going into this game.
Yep.
And again, fist flew in the second quarter.
Oh, I remember this. See, I have family that live in Fort Myers, Florida.
Yeah.
And that's where Deion Sanders was from.
Yeah.
You know, big Florida State guy and everything. But just when you first heard him coming on the scene and he's, you know, playing baseball,
Yeah,
and
it's a
football,
double sport
and doing
guy,
the whole
you
thing,
know.
double sport. And I mean, he was good. I mean, he was
really good,
He was
you know.
good in both. And, you know, he wasn't quite Bo Jackson.
He wasn't
good,
quite
but,
Bo
you know,
Jackson, but nobody's quite Bo Jackson. I mean,
no,
let's be
hands
honest.
down.
You know, it's
I mean, nobody's going to, you know, go breaking legs or anything. So, or ending careers, I should say. But
let's break that down for a second.
Okay.
The way that happened, it wasn't that Bo Jackson broke his leg. Okay, it was that he was running and he got tackled from behind, and the force that he was exerting with his legs was so great that he popped his own the hip. You know where
you're talking about Bosworth?
No, I'm talking about Bo Jackson. This is what ended his career in football.
Oh, I was talking about him.
The force of his
Yeah.
of his running, you know, like the force of his legs running was so great that he pulled his own leg out of socket.
Yes, yeah.
And wound up bursting the
bursa sac.
that was inside of that, and ended his football career right there because he was running with such force.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
He was a
but
train.
yeah, the whole Bosworth like running right over top of him into the end zone.
Literally drove
you know?
him back into
Yeah,
the end
that's
zone. It was running him back to the bus, you know.
pretty much. So
But all right, let's talk about it. The Music
January
City Miracle.
8th, 2000.
Yes. Or as they like to call it in Buffalo, the home run throwback.
It's called home run throwback.
No, it is called the Music City Miracle.
Well,
sir.
but the play is called the home run throwback.
It was a
Which is
lateral.
really funny because the whole thing with this is that like Kevin Dyson wasn't even supposed to be on the field.
No, he wasn't.
He was in because who was it? Was it Derek Mason was injured? Like he like couldn't come in. He was supposed to
can't
be
remember.
I think it was Derek Mason was
yeah.
supposed to be the guy to catch the ball. Also, the fact that Lorenzo Neal was not supposed to get the ball, but the way that it was kicked, it got to him. He hands it off to Wycheck, and then Wycheck throws it back.
Yes.
Okay.
And I cannot remember how many times they had to re-show that pass to show that it was an actual lateral.
What is so
not a
funny,
forward pass?
Okay, first off, that game is terrible.
Oh, it's a horrible game.
Eddie George fumbled twice. Okay,
Well,
it's one of those things that it should have
run
never
well either. There wasn't good passing.
There was a whole
games.
bunch of stuff. There was controversy going into it because Doug Flutie, again going back to that, had been the starter. And they put in, was it Doug Christie? Something Christie, not Doug Christie, something Christie. That was like their guy, Steve Christie, who was supposed to be their quarterback of the future.
Yep.
And he had played in the final game of the season and done well because they had already locked up their division. They didn't really, and he had done well. And they're like, okay, well, let's run with him. So they just started him instead of Doug Flutie. And then all of this happened. Now, they played well. They still, you got to remember, this 99 Bills team still had a lot of remnants of those Bills teams from the early 90s. I think Thurman Thomas was still with them. Yeah. And most definitely Bruce Smith was still with them.
Oh, yeah, Bruce Smith was still
and several of those guys. So it was one of those things, there were still elements of that were still hanging out. But I honestly believe that had Doug Flutie played in that game, there might have been a much different outcome.
Oh, very
because
possible.
He had played well all season long.
Very possible. I mean, but it's just the idea that this was really the first time that the established Tennessee Titans, not the Houston Oilers, not the Tennessee Oilers.
This was the first season of the Tennessee Titans.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
This is the first time that they had actually...
This was the first time Adelphia Stadium had been open.
Yes.
That literally, this was their inaugural season here.
And they
had played a year
playoffs,
prior at Vanderbilt as the Tennessee Oilers.
Yes.
But that was not what the Tennessee Titans would be.
But it was just that idea of, constantly getting crap for several years because a team moved. And it's
I know. Plus, it was Houston.
Why do you want to
Houston
call
been bad
yourselves
for a
the
while.
Tennessee Oilers? There's no oil in Tennessee.
I know, which there is, but not as much as Texas.
But it's just one of those things. And it was just that, to me, that was our defining moment.
Right.
That was us saying, you know what? We're legit.
Yep.
We know how to play this game.
Made a run to the Super Bowl.
And made a run and came up 1 yard short.
Yep.
But
and owned the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Oh, God, yes. So I just happened to think of another one while we were talking about the Bills, and I'm going to throw it out there.
Okay.
One name, and you're going to know exactly who I'm talking about when I say this name, because he is...
Scott Norwood.
Scott Norwood.
Scott Norwood.
Wide right.
Yeah. And it's sad because he had been a great kicker all season long, and he missed that one.
But that's what you know.
I know. And what's so funny is that, we don't know his name quite as well as, say, Ray Finkel, but it's still one of those things
Laces out.
Yeah, again, the movie Buffalo 66 is about him wanting to go kill. It is, wanting to go kill Scott Norwood. And he was also a joke in the X-Files.
Yes.
Where Mulder says something about, he's harder, this person's harder to find than Scott Norwood.
Well, that, and of course they talked about, what was it, the cigarette smoking man, when they were in charge of everything. Why do you think the Bills have never won the Super Bowl? They made that same joke.
I know.
There, and I was like, God love them,
But you got to look at that Bills team. 4 straight Super Bowl appearances
and
lost
losses
all of them.
Every single time.
Which is going to get us into my last one.
All right.
1992. I'm just talking about the year 1992 here because I graduated high school that year. Okay. That was the year, we're talking about 30 years ago. Right now. That fall of 1992, I watched my favorite college team win a national championship for the first time in 13 years in Alabama under Gene Stallings. Okay. Not only did they win a national championship that year, they beat Miami, who basically had been the team to beat for the last 10 years. I mean, they were amazing. Also, one of the greatest non-plays to ever happen.
Okay.
George Teague stripping Lamar Thomas.
Oh yeah.
And the whole thing is that there was a penalty on the so it didn't actually happen. But had he not stripped that ball, it would have been there. They would have declined the penalty, and it would have been there in Bama territory, like deep into Bama territory. And George Teague actually comes back into something here in a minute as well.
Okay.
But also my favorite football team in the NFL, the Dallas Cowboys, started a dynasty that year. So I graduated high school. I watched both my favorite football teams win championships. Right. Oh yeah, and I also watched Christian Laettner beat Kentucky in the semifinals of the national title game for the.
Shouldn't have been on the floor. He should have been ejected from the game.
You are on,
and you can suck it.
Damn. You've been sitting on that one, haven't you? Damn.
I'm out of here.
Sit your big butt back down.
One other little thing here. Yeah. George Teague wound up playing for the Dallas Cowboys later in his career. Mm-hmm. And in 2000, George Teague is the dude that laid out Terrell Owens whenever he went and spiked the football in the middle of the star.
Yeah. I remember that.
Like I was holding on to that one.
You can suck it.
So I think we've talked enough football now.
Yeah, we better get out of here before
Dave were really angry. So
he's about to go feral here. Dave, can you say goodbye?
Keep it up, and you're going to get a Waffle House napkin dispenser to the forehead.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, listen, we've talked a lot about a lot of things on this episode. Write us. Hit us up on Discord. Tell us some of your favorite moments or your most memorable moments. They don't necessarily have to be your favorite. They could be something that just sticks in your mind that you're never going to forget. Football moments, something you shared with a family member.
And by everything that I'm sitting here looking, it looks like we're probably going to see Alabama lose to Texas. So
that's what you get for
there is a God. Anyway,
we'll see what happens.
What you get for your comment.
So,
but yes, send us emails. Hit us up
tell
on
us
Discord.
about your favorite. I mean, we're having fun with this. I mean, it's one of those things where I am a big Alabama fan. I have a big, but I don't take it as seriously as a lot of other their fans do. Where it's like, no, dude, I get it. Hey, when other teams win, I'm like, good job, you did it. That's awesome. Some of that might come from just winning so much that you kind of get to, and I'm not doing it as a humble brag, but I mean, it really is kind of one of those like, good. I'm glad. I was really happy to see Georgia win last year. You know?
I'm sorry, Barry. 45-25. Wake Forest.
Yeah, I figured Wake Forest was going to be dominating today. So, well,
Bama's getting the ball back with 1:34, so I got to go watch this game. And
they're only up by a point.
2 points.
No,
Texas is up by 2.
Would you wrap this up already?
They just kicked a field goal. So, my name is Alan Smith.
I'm the other guy, Big Dave.
And I'm Barry.
And we will see you next time for something that's not sports related.
Suck it.
Later.